Good morning, and welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. If you are new to SMUUCh and want to know more about our church, please fill out our Get in Touch form using the link in our video description. Or if you are interested in learning about Unitarian Universalism, please join Jim Christ for our Just the Basics class today after the service. For all of you joining us live this morning, feel free to start posting your joys and sorrows now if you would like the names to be read during the candle lighting. And now, a few announcements from our minister.
Good morning, and it is a good morning. I'm Reverend Rose, the minister of SMUUCh. It is a joy to see you and an honor to be broadcast into your homes on this beautiful, momentous, and costly day. But first, a few announcements. We are launching a letter writing campaign and calling campaign this winter to make sure that no one is left without communication from the church this holiday season. If you would like to participate in this easy and connecting activity, please say "I will" in the chat. Now, I've received so many wishes to participate in this program, but I have to say there is one key demographic that I haven't heard much from, and that is the kids. Now, kids, listen up for a second. Letter writing is a lost art, but it is so much fun. You just tell someone about yourself, you say hi, you draw pictures, you put stickers, and then maybe they'll write you back. Just like you've been getting your UU Principal box delivered to your house from the religious education program here at church, getting something delivered to your home is a lot of fun. Parents, I will pair your kids up specifically with the elderly, because it has been proven that relationships between the oldest and the youngest have profound, lifelong effects on the kids and bring great peace and mental health to the elderly. So please email me if your children would be up for writing some letters, or just indicate it in the chat. There will be a Zoom call this Wednesday on the 11th at 6 p.m. to get instructions on writing these letters and making these phone calls, and we have stamped holiday cards for you ready if you don't want to make or use your own. The link for all of this is in your weekly email, because together we are better. Together we are a courageous church, a courageous nation, a courageous globe. Come, let us gather in gratitude, in warmth, in breathing, relief, and joy for all that is good in this world. Come, let us worship. Please join us for our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Rejoice and come in. Enter, rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Open your ears to the song.
you need is a candle, a spark, and some sort of special chalice.
And some parental supervision.
Please join me as we light our chalice, and let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
The Undefeated by Kwame Alexander and illustrated by Kadir Nelson. This is for the unforgettable, the swift and the sweet ones who hurdle history and opened a world of possible. The ones who survived America by any means necessary. And the ones who didn't. This is for the undeniable, the ones who scored with chains on one hand and faith in the other. This is for the unflappable, the sophisticated ones who box adversity and tackle vision. Who shine their light for the world to see and don't stop till the break of dawn. This is for the unafraid, the audacious ones who carried the red, white, and weary blues on the battlefield to save an imperfect union. The righteous marching ones who sang, "We shall not be moved," because Black lives matter. This is for the unspeakable. This is for the unspeakable. This is for the unspeakable. This is for the unlimited, the unstoppable ones, the dreamers and the doers who swim across the big sea of our imagination and show us the majestic shores of the promised land. The Wilma Rudolphs, the Muhammad Alis, the Althea Gibsons, the Jesse Owenses, the Jordans and the LeBrons, the Serenas and the Cheryls, the Reese Whitleys, and the undiscovered. This is for the unbelievable, the we real cool ones. This is for the unbending, the black as night is beautiful ones. This is for the underdogs and the uncertain, the unspoken, but no longer untitled. This is for the undefeated. This is for you and you and you. This is for us.
This is the time where we expand the caring love of our community, where we bring to heart those in our midst who are suffering and those who feel the sweet relief of their burdens easing. Today we celebrate with everyone who is able to breathe after the election. We celebrate for science and humanitarianism and democracy. We celebrate for decency and accountability and repair. And we hold in our hearts all for whom the great divides in this nation have ravaged their families and their hearts. For all those whose sense of the shadows of lost people and lost security is here because of this chasm in our nation that is now more apparent than ever. We stand at this chasm, this great national divide, and we see it with unclouded eyes, and we process, and we grieve. We grieve that this nation has so long been rent on these same issues that are tearing humanity apart even centuries later. We grieve that the sins of the forefathers plague us even now. And we celebrate that their gifts too are living in action. We stand in solidarity with all who have fought for a fair and human-centered democracy. We link arms with the thoughtful, powerful, and resilient leadership which has arisen in this country, which honestly has been a lot of Black women and voters of color and white people who have done the work to be able to follow our leaders of color. We meet with joy and relief and trepidation in our hearts, in hope that this pandemic will come to an end, that the deaths and the fear will melt away, and our bodies and our communities and our natural world will all be able to breathe, that we will have this space to knit ourselves back up as we will naturally do if allowed, that we will once again be able to meet in safety and celebration of all that we have, which is right and good and true in this world. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. And now please comment in the comment section of the live chat your joy or sorrow. Remember, this moment of sharing happens online and remains public for all viewers joining us today. To join us further together in the beloved community, we will read out loud the names of those who posted joys and sorrows while I light the candles.
A candle for all veterans and everyone touched by war. Reverend Rose's grandma is in the hospital, and she lights a candle for the 3 nurses who washed her grandmother's hair, put curlers in it, and found her a silken cap. A candle to celebrate 100 years of voting rights for women and 55 years of voting rights for African Americans. Diane has a candle for Jenny. You were greatly missed. Patrice has a candle of joy for a better tomorrow. And we light the remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts.
Please join me for a moment of silence, followed by spoken word. Today I speak a simple prayer for change, for this great earth to creak and its people to crack open deep inside, and for vines to come spilling out great rushes of beauty and rage, fueling us as a globe to turn away from short-sightedness and prejudice and reactivity. For our institutions of destruction to crumble, and for the earth and its people to heal. I say a simple prayer for change. May we become the agents of this change, pushing now, changing now, making the shifts in ourselves so that we might bring about the changes that we as a community and we as an earth need so badly. I say a simple prayer for change, for us to find the strength to stand up in our own communities for what we believe in. Speak up even when our voice shakes. Sit in the hard dialogues that scare us because we love each other, and what the world needs now is love, sweet love. I say a simple prayer for change. And now on this auspicious day, I'll invite you to utter your prayer for your America. Whatever you wish could happen to us in all of our complicated glory. Wish for growth, for repair, for becoming, for heart. And I invite you to distill that down into one word. What do you wish for this land, for these people? And now I invite you to open your eyes and be brave and write that word in the chat. Tell the people in your community what you wish for, what your prayer is. Just type your simple word, knowing that the words we use are powerful. And now, just to keep these musicians on their toes, I'm going to change our meditative hymn to number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. Please continue in your prayerful state, in your meditative state, as we sing you our meditative hymn number 396.
Hear these words from a song of myself by Walt Whitman. Unscrew the locks from the doors. Unscrew the doors themselves from their jambs. Whoever degrades another degrades me, and whatever is done or said returns at last to me. Through me, surging and surging, through me the current and index. I speak the password primeval. I give the sign of democracy. By God, I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. Through me, voices of the interminable generations of prisoners and slaves, voices of the diseased and despairing and of thieves and dwarves, voices of cycles of preparation and growth, and of the threads that connect the stars, and of wombs, and of the father stuff, and of the rights of them the others are down upon. Through me, forbidden voices, seeing, hearing, feeling are miracles, and each part and tag of me is a miracle.
This day, 4 years ago, I preached a sermon entitled Lit and Ignited, about how the change of that presidential leadership 4 years ago had ignited in us liberals a burning fire of commitment to fight for the values of racial equity, environmentalism, education, and decency. But if you thought that fire was hot, look down into yourselves now, because this is our moment. Can't you feel the wind at our backs? This is the moment when we make way. This is the moment when we, by faith alone, make strides towards a world that is more compassionate, more literate, healthier, and united. For this flame that has been flickering and waning inside of us these last years is now being brightened by this great breath we have just taken. This relief is the relief of what we are about to accomplish, not what we just did. Because this is where the healing begins. This is when we fumble towards repair, being more deliberate and more thoughtful and more committed than we have ever been before. This here, now, is not safety. This is our chance. This is our moment to dig our heels in and actually make the changes that are needed and make them in our own hearts, to be willing individually to move towards what this earth needs in the long run, to make brave choices, to do the tiny, regular acts of solidarity to move us along towards the world that we dream of. Now, I called this sermon Fumbling Towards Repair because of this book, which is a workbook for community accountability facilitators. It was made specifically by people who work in situations where the abused and the abuser live in the same community. And I entitled this sermon 9 months ago because I knew that regardless of the outcome of this election, this chasm, this divide, and this calling that we are facing today would be here. And I think that part of our path forward, part of our fumbling towards that repair, is laid out for us by these very thoughtful authors. This book was written by 2 women of color, Mariame Kaba and Shira Hassan, who wrote this book about their own community organizing work. And the role they played specifically was to bridge the divides that are caused by serious harm between 2 members of the same community who all need to live together. The harms they speak of are not unlike what we've seen encouraged or even modeled by the leadership in this country for the last years. Things like child abuse, sexual assault, hate crimes, inciting violence. Now, the communities that these 2 women write about don't have trust with the police. So they wrote this workbook, which I think is pertinent to us, as there isn't anyone who can come in and fix this for us. We have to do it ourselves. We as a nation actually have to learn how to build accountability and support from the ground up in situations that are highly traumatic and involve someone causing harm and someone being harmed. Now, this book goes through many tools and journaling prompts, giving us lists of things that are needed in order for healing to happen, like truth, time, trust, and transformation. But they advise us on 2 specific things that I think are most interesting for us today. The first is that they warn against something they call disposability culture, which we might call cancel culture. Thus, their work does not cancel the perpetrators of harm. They instead go extensively into how to hold people accountable, how to deal with your own emotions or trauma reminders about the harm that has been caused, how to actually bridge that gap and create trust so that there can be accountability. for disposability culture is actually what has resulted in, for example, the prison system. It's the idea that someone can just be removed from a situation and the problem is solved. But we can't just remove 70 million people, our family members and our neighbors, from this world. We have to learn how this is actually going to work. This brings me to their second point. Throughout their book, as they give this practical advice and outline methods and talk about accountability with those who have caused harm, these authors are constantly centering the voices of the victims. Their whole process is built around the idea that someone has been harmed, and therefore the heart of this process is listening to their needs and then fumbling towards repair. And so this is the clue about how we repair. And this is how we fumble. We recognize that the victims must stay at the center of the conversation. Like right now, what is happening with the pandemic and lack of information and buy-in around science has caused huge amounts of harm on the American people. And so in our dialogues, what we do is keep those who have died at the center of the conversation. Even if those who need to be held accountable squirm away, we keep those victims at the center, which is actually easier said than done. The same goes for the lost children at the border. The same goes for the conversations around police practices. The same goes for our earth. Because what is justice? Justice is not revenge. Justice is accountability. And if someone refuses to be accountable, justice becomes simply staying committed and shining our bright lights on those who need the support. And it actually is extremely rare and exceptional when this happens. For example, Miss Stacey Abrams, who lost the Georgia gubernatorial election in the midst of voter fraud 2 years ago, who has spent the last 2 years registering 800,000 voters. No, I'm sorry. Yes, that's true. That seemed like too big of a number. But in Georgia. Or Patrick Mahomes, who has made me a believer, because Mr. Mahomes rented out Arrowhead Stadium on the east side of Kansas City so that black people could vote, and then got food trucks because that's how we come together as human beings, to eat. Now, these are simple stories, but they seem so incredible and heroic to us because solidarity is that rare and that powerful. There are polling places all over Kansas City. Why wasn't there one on the east side? Why is that so radical? Why does it feel so incredible to us that hundreds of thousands of black people were registered to vote in Georgia when millions of people are registered to vote across the United States? Because centering those who have been victim in a system or a community is truly a radical shift. So I say, unscrew the locks from the doors, unscrew the doors themselves from the jambs. Whoever degrades another degrades me. And whatever is said or done returns at last to me, because through me, surging through me, the current and index, because staying committed to those who have been harmed is that radical and that regular. Because this here now is not safety. No, this is our moment to dig our heels in and actually make the changes that are needed and make them in our own hearts. To be willing to move towards what this earth needs in the long run, to make brave choices to do the tiny, regular acts of solidarity to move us along towards the world that we not only dream of, but that we need to survive. This is the dream that we have waited for, this chance to light up the world with our universalism, shining with faith that we can actually bend the arc of the universe towards justice, hand over hand, lighting each other's flames with small acts of commitment in our everyday lives. This is a moment when we turn ourselves around and make a deeper commitment to be the change that we wish to see in the world, to engage deeper, hold our leadership accountable with the same fervor that we have been for the last 4 years, to remain present, lit, and ignited in this moment for these coming 4 years are when the changes happen. And we don't have the luxury to wait anymore. This is when we have a chance to repair not what happened in the last 4 years, but what happened in the last 400 years. This is when we breathe, 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 and then we get to work. Because by God, let us accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. Through us, the voices of interminable generations of prisoners and slaves. Through us, the voices of cycles of preparation and growth. And of the threads that connect the stars, and of wombs, and of the father stuff, and of the rights of them who others have been down upon. Through me, forbidden voices, for seeing, hearing, feeling, are miracles, and each part and tag of me and of you and of all of us is a miracle. Blessed be and amen. Please join us for our closing hymn, This Little Light of Mine. Please allow Bernie to introduce the offertory.
The work of the church depends on us, for we embody the church. In the context of global and national strife, SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection, for dialogue, for healing. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of our church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
And here's to all the tough girls, and here's to all the sensitive boys. We belong, and here's to all the rejects, and here's to all the misfits. We belong. Here's to all the brains and the geeks, and here's to all the made-up freaks, yeah. We belong. And when the same old voices say that we'd be better off running away, we belong. We belong anyway. And here's to all the one-hit wonders, and here's to all the mistakes and the blunders. We belong. And here's to all the fashion don'ts, and here's to all the Friday night home alones. We belong. And when the same old voices say that we'd be better off running away, we belong. We belong anyway. diversity. We belong. And when the same old voices say that we'd be better off running away, we belong anyway. And when the same old voices say that we'd be better off running away, we belong anyway.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join us in the closing hymn, and you, I know, are all ready for it. This Little Light of Mine, number 118.
May you be the change you wish to see in this world. May you sense that you and we are undefeated. Through you, your effect on this world is profound. Go forth into this world, prepared for change, ready to do your part in the repair. Go in peace.